Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. You might be new here. Just to give you some preface, I'm a TopStep funded trader with 5 accounts that I copy trade. So 5 funded accounts, it's just what I've been doing. I'm documenting my progress. I'll be documenting my payouts. Today I want to go over a trade recap. It was, again, just, if you watched my last video, it was just a small trade. It was not great conditions today, and I recognized that early, which is good, and I was able to get out of a position that would have gotten stopped at break even. So I'll go into the trade. So let me minimize myself. Here are my 5 TopStep accounts. You can see the dates that I started, the combines. The combines, I usually use a little bit bigger size to get to the eval quicker, although the risk is higher. So the risk of losing the account is higher, but if you're a profitable trader, it's not really an issue as long as you take your A+ setup. So right now, 5 accounts at $868.46. So it's about, I'm not great at math, but 4,000 something in profit, I think. Might be a little bit more. Anyway, let's get into the trade. So I have my executions here. You can actually see at first, I actually get stopped out with a very, very small loss. I think it was a $40 loss that I took. On this trade here, I scaled in to 2 contracts, 2 micro contracts, might I add. These are not minis, these are micros. Okay, if you're not a profitable trader yet, or even if you're just now getting profitable and trading prop money, you have a $2,000 account. Don't trade minis. You're gonna lose it, and you might go on tilt and blow the whole account. So I entered in here right there, and I wasn't feeling super confident. So this green box here is my window, right? That's my window to enter and exit. Okay, not to exit. I can hold runners longer than 10-15, but that's my window to enter trades. And after that, I lock my account out. I go to this right here. I click all day, and I click yes, lock me out after anything outside of this window. That's just how I manage my risk. That's how I don't give profits back to the PM session. So I actually get stopped out, not quite at break even, but at a small loss, about $40. I was bullish on the day, and I thought that was slight manipulation at the lows, but I just wasn't 100% sure. So I cut the trade off. I didn't get stopped. I cut the trade at about a $40 loss there. So we get some displacement back up. We come back to the inverse fair value gap. That's this gray box right here. We come back to that inverse fair value gap. We tap it. I enter here at about 481. So I watch the rejection from this inverse, and I entered about here. Okay, we tap back into this 1-minute inverse fair value gap one more time, and then we run higher. And now I'll kind of get into why I exited right here. We didn't even reach this high. You're probably like, why didn't you just wait till this high? It's funny because I was looking at ES. I watched both NQ and ES, and I did see an SMT at the low, but there was a really big divergence between NQ and ES. ES was super, super bearish, and I wasn't really liking what I was seeing because the NASDAQ was going upwards. Excuse me. NASDAQ was going higher, but ES was kind of just selling off. Seeing that, I was like, NQ is probably just lagging, and it's probably gonna sell off also. And so I exited here, and as you can see, it literally just sold right off. Now, it would have just stopped me out at break even, but I mean, that is just a wick that does damage, strictly. Okay, and then the rest of the day ends up being pretty choppy, and honestly, I identified that the conditions were not ideal to be trading in the first place, and I ended up cutting my trade short. So I ended up making about $244 per account. If I go to my trade performance settings here, this is what my account looks like so far. I've been definitely really working on being patient. This was a day where I actually had my biggest day, and I ended up giving back all my profits in the PM session. And luckily my systems are there to protect me from losing more. But that's the day that I started implementing my lockout rule, where after 10:15 a.m. Eastern time, I cannot enter any more trades. I'm locked out for the rest of the day. The day is over, okay? So today was, I believe we got up to 5 micros scaled in. So the initial entry risk was about 2 MNQ contracts, I believe. If I scroll back here, oh no, I'm not even correct about that. I entered in on this with pretty fair conviction at the time with 5 contracts, 5 micro contracts. So half of a full mini, basically. And I cut the trade there. I was gonna scale out and do partials because of how bearish ES was, but I ended up just saying, you know what, I don't like the conditions. I'm just gonna take off the trade. So that is the trade for today. So that was the trade for today. I don't really have much else to go over. I'm just documenting my progress here. Again, once I get to about 3,000 in profit, that's when I'll take my first payout. I believe that one more day of $200 profit, I'll be able to be eligible for a payout. Although that's not my goal, is to just make $200 a day and take payouts. I want to get to 3,000 in profit per account, withdraw 1.5K per account times 5 for 7,500. And I want to document this whole process. So hopefully you found this insightful. Hopefully my insight into seeing how bearish ES was gave me basically an indicator to exit, because the trade would have just ran straight to my break even, straight to it. So that was a little bit of insight as to what I was thinking. The setup I was looking for, there was an SMT at the low that's not labeled because it's not valid anymore, but that's the trade. So appreciate you watching. Again, I'll be documenting all my progress here, and hopefully I see you in the next one.